Have you noticed how some men attract women without even trying? What if there was one simple thing you could do that makes women feel drawn to you instantly? You don't need to be rich, handsome, or charming. This video will reveal a powerful psychological trick that most men never know. It works quietly and naturally, almost like magic. Watch carefully, because once you understand this, women will start noticing you more, thinking about you, and feeling pulled toward you without any effort. Mastering quiet power. True power is rarely loud. It doesn't come from shouting, being aggressive, or trying to dominate others openly. The strongest kind of influence is quiet, subtle, and often unseen. It doesn't need words, gestures, or flashy displays to make an impact. Instead, it works quietly, like an invisible current shaping thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. This is the idea of quiet power, being in control without showing off, influencing without pushing, and earning respect without demanding it. Machiavelli, the expert on strategy and human behavior, understood this principle deeply. He explained that the greatest influence comes from placing yourself in a way that others respond naturally, without struggle or resistance. Applied to attraction, this means creating a presence that draws attention effortlessly. Women sense this influence without thinking about it. They feel it as a subtle energy, a pull that communicates confidence, stability, and authority, even if they cannot explain why. Quiet power is not about intimidation. It is not about showing strength or trying to control situations openly. Real influence comes from combining three key elements: presence, confidence, and timing. Presence is the way you occupy a space, the calm energy you carry, your composed manner, and how you hold yourself without tension or neediness. Confidence is the deep belief in your value, the kind that doesn't shake even under pressure. Timing is knowing when to act, when to speak, and when to stay silent. Together, these three create a magnetic effect that naturally draws women toward you. The effect of quiet power is immediate, yet invisible. Women notice it almost without realizing it. They may not understand why they are drawn to you, but they feel it in their minds, attention, and emotions. Unlike loud or obvious attempts to attract, quiet power works beneath the surface. It moves silently, shaping perception, creating interest, and building fascination without needing to be overt. One of the most important secrets of this power is restraint. Many men destroy attraction by trying too hard, overacting, or showing neediness. Quiet power requires patience and self-control. By holding back, not chasing, and remaining composed, you create a sense of value and scarcity. Scarcity is very powerful because the mind is naturally drawn to things that are rare and hard to get. When women sense that you are not desperate for attention or approval, they begin to notice you more and feel naturally pulled toward your presence. Consistency is another key factor. Quiet power works best when your behavior is steady and reliable. Sudden emotional swings, unpredictability, or overreactions can weaken the influence you create. The most magnetic people are calm, measured, and steady. Their energy communicates strength, confidence, and certainty, and women are drawn to this sense of quiet authority. Timing also plays a critical role. Knowing when to act, when to speak, and when to stay silent enhances your influence. Silence is not a weakness, it is a tool. A well-timed word, gesture, or glance can create fascination in ways that words alone cannot. Women are naturally responsive to this careful orchestration, and they feel drawn almost involuntarily to a presence that is measured, controlled, and confident. Quiet power is the art of influence that doesn't need to be obvious to work. It is strategic, psychological, and invisible, yet it creates a strong pull. When mastered, women feel this influence without fully understanding why. They are drawn to your energy, your presence, and the calm confidence you project. In essence, quiet power transforms attraction from surface-level interactions into a deeper psychological effect. It is not about showing off, forcing attention, or trying too hard. Instead, it is about being, a subtle force that naturally draws curiosity, attention, and desire. This is the real kind of power. It works silently, effectively, and irresistibly, creating a magnetic pull that women feel long before they even realize it. The hidden force of attraction. Most men think attracting women is all about saying the right words, looking good, or acting charming. They believe that if they dress nicely, smile a lot, or try to be funny, women will immediately notice them. But the truth goes much deeper. Real attraction is not about words, looks, or charm. True influence is invisible. It is subtle, quiet, and does not demand attention. It moves almost like a shadow, touching the mind without being seen. It works behind the scenes, shaping thoughts, feelings, and emotions without anyone noticing. When a woman feels drawn to a man, it often happens before she even knows why. Her mind responds to small signals, subtle cues, and unseen energy that she cannot describe. This silent force cannot be forced, bought, or faked. Many men spend their lives trying to get attention by talking too much, showing off, or acting loud. But these actions only create noise. They do not create real attraction. The hidden force of influence is the opposite of noise. It is calm, steady, and deliberate. It works quietly, almost magically, yet its effects are clear and powerful. This hidden force is not about manipulation in a bad sense. It is not about lying, pretending, or acting in ways that are fake. It is about presence, how you exist, and how your energy affects others. It is about projecting a quiet energy that naturally pulls attention and curiosity. Think of it like gravity. You cannot see gravity, but it pulls objects toward itself. You may not notice it directly, but its effect is real. In the same way, this hidden influence draws a woman's attention without her fully realizing it. She feels it in her mind first, in her curiosity, and then she slowly begins to notice you. Many men do not understand the power of calmness, subtlety, and quiet confidence. They believe they need to be loud, active, or exciting to be attractive. But the stronger this hidden power is, the less obvious it becomes. The more subtle the pull, the more irresistible it is. Women are naturally drawn to things they cannot fully understand, to people who are calm yet strong, and to those who hint at depth without revealing everything at once. This power is not something you act out, it is something you become. It comes from your confidence, self-awareness, and understanding of how people think. It comes from the way you move calmly, respond thoughtfully, and carry yourself with quiet certainty. These small, often unnoticed qualities create a magnetic pull. A woman's mind begins to linger on you. Her curiosity grows. She wants to learn more. She feels intrigued by your presence, almost without realizing it. The key is not to force attention or create drama. True influence works when it is unseen. It is like a shadow touching thoughts and feelings, slowly drawing her interest. It works behind the scenes, shaping perceptions without words or obvious actions. This is the essence of the hidden force of attraction, the kind of power that makes women naturally feel drawn to you without knowing why. It is subtle, strategic, and almost untouchable, yet its effect is immediate and undeniable. When you understand this hidden force, you will see attraction in a completely new way. You will realize that words and looks are only the surface. The real pull comes from quiet, hidden forces that influence the mind and spark curiosity. Once you master this, women will begin to notice you effortlessly. They will feel drawn to you without explanation. And that, more than charm, money, or status, is the true art of attraction. The hidden forces of attraction. Human psychology works in ways most people don't realize. Attraction is rarely about charm, looks, or money alone. The mind reacts strongest to subtle signals that suggest depth, confidence, and independence. These signals are not loud or flashy. They are quiet, often invisible, yet they trigger powerful responses in the subconscious. Women, like all humans, notice these cues automatically. Even if they cannot explain why, their minds recognize and respond to them instantly. One of the strongest forces in attraction is depth. Depth shows that a person has complexity, intelligence, and a life beyond the immediate moment. When you naturally project depth, it tells the mind that you are someone worth noticing. Depth is not something you claim, it is something you embody. It comes through your calm energy, your presence, and the way you carry yourself. When women sense layers they cannot immediately understand, it creates intrigue. Curiosity grows. Her mind starts to linger on you, trying to explore and understand the hidden parts of who you are. This is how fascination begins. Confidence is another key factor. True confidence is quiet and steady. It does not need to be shown off or proven. When you carry yourself with confidence, it signals that you are capable, self-assured, and in control of your life. Confidence communicates stability and security, which naturally draws attention and trust. It tells the subconscious mind that you are not needy or desperate. Women respond to this quietly, feeling drawn without realizing why. Confidence makes your presence feel significant, magnetic, and impossible to ignore. Independence adds even more strength to the pull. A person who does not rely on approval, who lives according to their own rules, creates a natural psychological attraction. Independence communicates freedom, strength, and self-sufficiency. When women sense that you are independent, their minds recognize value and a subtle challenge. This tension between your availability and your autonomy sparks fascination. She doesn't just notice you, her thoughts begin to revolve around you. She analyzes, imagines, and wants to understand more. Her mind lingers on you because you are rare and self-contained. When you combine depth, confidence, and independence, the effect is extraordinary. These qualities speak directly to the subconscious mind. Words and gestures are temporary, but these signals are long-lasting. They create emotional engagement, curiosity, and intrigue without effort. Fascination begins naturally, almost automatically. The pull becomes so strong that it feels irresistible. Her mind is drawn to you before her senses even fully register your presence. It's important to understand that this attraction works quietly and invisibly. You don't need to try hard, act, or impress. Subtle cues are far more effective than bold or obvious actions. The way you carry yourself, your calm energy, the confidence in your presence, and the sense of depth you project are noticed subconsciously. These small but powerful signals bypass rational thought and speak directly to instinct, curiosity, and emotion. Once you master these hidden forces, you can influence attention and attraction without effort. Women don't just notice you, they linger on you mentally. Your presence becomes memorable, intriguing, and magnetic. She may not consciously understand why she is drawn to you, but the effect is undeniable. Fascination forms and attraction follows naturally. In short, the hidden forces of attraction rely on signals that the mind is hardwired to respond to. Depth, confidence, and independence are not just traits, they are invisible magnets. When you embody them correctly, women are drawn to you automatically. They think about you, imagine you, and feel pulled toward your presence long before any words are exchanged. This is the invisible, psychological foundation of attraction, and it is far more powerful than any surface-level attempt to impress. The hidden science of attraction. Attraction is not something you do. It is not about memorized lines, tricks, or clever actions. True attraction comes from a state of being, a way of existing that naturally draws attention and curiosity. Philosophers and psychologists have long understood this. The mind is the true battlefield of desire. Words, gestures, and appearances only touch the surface. Real influence happens deeper, where thoughts, emotions, and curiosity intersect. This invisible space is where genuine attraction is born, quietly and effortlessly. Every thought a woman has, every feeling she experiences, and every decision she makes is influenced by subtle cues she notices, often without realizing it. When she feels drawn to a man, it is rarely because of what he says or does openly. She reacts to the energy he carries, the confidence he projects, and the depth he implies. She senses the state he embodies, an invisible presence that quietly pulls attention and sparks curiosity. This is the hidden science of attraction, realizing that being is far more powerful than doing, and presence is stronger than performance. The human mind naturally seeks what it cannot fully understand. It craves mystery, depth, and signs of intelligence, strength, and independence. When a man embodies these qualities, attraction happens almost automatically. It is not about what he says or does. It is about the alignment of his energy, confidence, and self-possession. This alignment creates a natural pull that women feel instinctively. Without thinking consciously, they are drawn to a presence that signals value and depth. Philosophers and psychologists have observed that desire is driven more by curiosity and anticipation than by immediate satisfaction. The strongest attraction is often subtle, delayed, and mysterious. By understanding the hidden patterns of attention, what makes the mind linger on someone or something, you can guide interest and fascination in a natural way. Anticipation sparks attention, curiosity sustains it, and alignment with personal value amplifies it. This is why the most powerful attraction is rarely obvious. It works beneath awareness, shaping desire invisibly. To truly master this approach, you must focus on cultivating a state of being rather than performing actions. Your confidence, calmness, and self-assurance naturally communicate value. Your presence alone can trigger intrigue and curiosity. Women are drawn not to what you say, but to the essence of who you are. How you carry yourself, the quiet certainty you exude, and the depth you suggest all combine to create a magnetic pull that is impossible to ignore. This way of attracting attention is deeply psychological. It works because the mind responds to stability, strength, and subtle unpredictability. When you embody these qualities naturally, fascination grows organically. You no longer need to compete with charm, appearance, or clever lines. Instead, you influence the mind directly, shaping perception and stirring desire at a deeper, more instinctive level. The hidden science of attraction teaches that influence is more about being than doing, more about presence than performance, and more about subtlety than effort. Women are drawn to men who naturally embody these qualities. The state you carry becomes a silent signal of value, intrigue, and depth. It captures attention, fuels curiosity, and sparks desire without you having to force it. When you understand and apply this principle, your approach to attraction transforms completely. You stop trying to impress or perform. You naturally draw attention and captivate interest. Your presence becomes magnetic, and your state of being communicates a silent language of influence. Attraction no longer depends on words, actions, or appearances. It becomes a force that works invisibly in the mind, effortlessly shaping fascination and desire long before it touches the senses. The magnetic power of silence. One of the most overlooked secrets of attraction is knowing when to stay silent. Many men believe that to get noticed or desired, they have to act constantly, talk a lot, or show off their charm. They think that by putting in effort, showing attention, or appearing eager, they will become more attractive. But the truth is the opposite. Trying too hard often destroys attraction. It sends signals of neediness, insecurity, and dependence, which the subconscious mind immediately notices. Women are naturally drawn to calm, mysterious, and controlled energy, not to loudness, desperation, or overexposure. True attraction grows quietly. It grows when you remain composed, calm, and measured, even in situations that tempt you to overreact. Silence is not emptiness. It is power in its purest form. When you speak less, act less, or reveal less about yourself, you allow space for her mind to work. Her thoughts start to fill in the blanks. Curiosity begins to awaken. She starts imagining who you are, wondering about your life, and thinking about you more than you might expect. This is the essence of restraint, letting your presence do the talking instead of your words or actions. The psychological impact of silence is incredible. Human minds are naturally attracted to what they cannot fully understand or predict. When you withhold, stay composed, and resist the urge to over-explain, you trigger a deep instinct in her brain that seeks curiosity, intrigue, and engagement. This subtle withholding creates tension, a tension that feels magnetic, irresistible, and exciting. Silence in this sense is not weakness. It is a strategic form of power. It works quietly but profoundly, influencing her mind without her even realizing it. Restraint also communicates confidence and independence. A man who is calm, controlled, and unhurried silently signals that he does not need validation, attention, or approval from anyone. This independence is one of the most attractive qualities a man can display. Women sense it immediately. It creates respect, admiration, and a subtle desire. The calmer and quieter you are, the more her mind engages, the more she thinks about you, and the stronger the fascination grows naturally. Fascination often begins where overexposure ends. Most men destroy attraction by revealing too much too soon, by being overly available, or by trying to impress relentlessly. Strategic silence, however, works in the opposite way. Absence creates value. When she cannot predict you or fully understand you, her mind starts to engage. She fills in the blanks, interprets signals, and creates stories about you in her imagination. This mental engagement strengthens attraction far more effectively than any words, gestures, or actions ever could. The balance between silence and presence is critical. Being quiet does not mean being passive. It means controlling the rhythm of interaction, maintaining calm dominance, and allowing your natural energy to do the work. Every pause, every measured moment of silence adds to your power. It makes your presence feel heavier, more important, and magnetic. Women unconsciously notice the difference between what you show and what you withhold. This subtle balance turns simple attention into deep, lingering fascination. The power of silence is ultimately about mastering the invisible. It allows curiosity to grow naturally, fascination to deepen, and attraction to take hold effortlessly. The more composed, calm, and controlled you are, the stronger this pull becomes. Less truly is more. Absence, restraint, and subtlety become tools that create an irresistible draw. Once you embrace this principle, attraction no longer depends on effort, action, or performance. It becomes natural, effortless, and psychological. Her mind starts to linger on you. She imagines possibilities. She feels drawn to your presence without realizing why. Curiosity grows, fascination deepens, and fascination transforms into a subtle, almost irresistible pull. This is the magnetic power of silence, the hidden, invisible force behind true attraction. It is quiet, strategic, and profoundly effective. When mastered, it creates a presence that captivates, intrigues, and draws her mind to you effortlessly. The hidden pull of the mind. Every human mind has secret desires, quiet cravings that shape thoughts and feelings even when we don't notice them. Among these hidden urges, one of the strongest is the need to notice what is rare, mysterious, and hard to control. People are naturally drawn to things they cannot fully understand or easily have. This is not a conscious choice. It is built into our psychology. The mind is always looking for value, depth, and challenge. When someone embodies these qualities, they automatically attract attention without even trying. In attraction, this hidden pull is extremely important. Women, like everyone else, are drawn to what stands out, what is unusual, and what cannot be fully predicted or controlled. This is why a man who is calm, confident, and mysterious can create a magnetic effect that feels almost magical. It is not about charm, money, or physical appearance. It is about carrying a presence that quietly signals value, independence, and depth. This presence sparks curiosity, fascination, and a strong mental pull. When you tap into this hidden desire, women begin to feel drawn to you on a subtle, almost invisible level. You become the thought that lingers in her mind, even when she isn't consciously thinking about you. Your presence intrigues her without explanation. She feels naturally pulled to notice, think, and imagine. This pull doesn't come from what you say or do. It comes from the energy you give off and the way you carry yourself. This is the power of psychological influence, quiet, indirect, yet extremely strong. People have always been drawn to the rare and the mysterious. Philosophers have observed this for centuries. Humans want what they cannot fully grasp. Machiavelli knew that true influence comes not from obvious control or force, but from creating situations where others feel naturally drawn to respond. By being subtle, unpredictable, or just slightly elusive, you trigger this deep psychological mechanism. Women may not understand why they feel attracted to you. They simply feel it, almost instinctively. This pull works in a precise way. It is the opposite of desperation, neediness, or showing too much. If you are too easy to read, too available, or fully predictable, you lose your magnetic effect. The mind wants what is partly hidden, what suggests depth, and what cannot be fully owned. By embodying these qualities, you become more than a person. You become an experience, a presence, a thought that she cannot stop thinking about. The psychological influence of this hidden pull is subtle but undeniable. It shapes her attention, curiosity, and emotions without her even realizing it. She starts noticing small details about you that previously went unseen. Your energy, the way you carry yourself, and your quiet confidence create fascination. That fascination slowly grows into attraction, and attraction becomes a strong mental connection. Understanding this principle gives you a major advantage. You stop competing with other men on surface-level things like words, charm, or looks. Instead, you work on a deeper level that affects the mind first, even before it touches the senses. Women feel naturally drawn to you because your presence resonates with a hidden desire inside them. You become unforgettable, intriguing, and magnetic. In short, understanding the mind's hidden pull changes the way attraction works. It is quiet, subtle, and almost invisible, but incredibly powerful. When you master it, women feel an effortless, irresistible draw toward you. This is the hidden art of influence, where psychology, strategy, and philosophy combine to create a magnetic presence that lingers in the mind long after you are gone. The invisible attraction. The final truth about attraction is simpler than most men realize. The most powerful influence is invisible. It does not shout for attention. It does not rely on flashy actions, loud words, or obvious gestures. True attraction works quietly, almost without anyone noticing. It reaches the mind before it reaches the senses. Women notice it, respond to it, and feel drawn to it even if they cannot explain why. This hidden power is the foundation of effortless attraction, the kind of pull that feels natural and unavoidable. Attraction becomes magnetic when it works on the mind, not just on what is seen. Looks, charm, and words can help, but they are temporary and surface level. The mind, however, reacts to presence, energy, and subtle psychological signals. When you understand this, you realize that you do not need to act more, try harder, or show off. Just one thing, your state of being, your presence, your calm confidence, can make any woman feel drawn to you instantly. It is about embodying depth, strength, and subtlety, and letting your energy do the work. This invisible attraction is untouchable because it operates below awareness. It does not depend on performance or attention-seeking. Instead, it comes from mastering yourself. Calmness, control, quiet confidence, and measured action create a natural energy that pulls people toward you. Women feel this pull even before they look at you closely. They sense it in your energy. Their minds start noticing you, thinking about you, and wanting to understand you. This is the silent but unstoppable force that drives attraction. Even Machiavelli understood this principle. Real power is not loud, it is subtle. It guides, influences, and compels without forcing anything. The invisible attraction works the same way. It does not try to create desire, it allows desire to grow naturally. By mastering your presence, understanding human psychology, and staying calm and subtle, you create a pull that works automatically. Women respond without realizing why because it touches their minds, their curiosity, and their desire for something rare and meaningful. The invisible attraction is also powerful because it is effortless. Trying too hard creates tension, neediness, and pressure, which destroy attraction. Effortless presence, in contrast, communicates independence, value, and confidence. Women sense it instantly. They notice your calm energy, your depth, and your independence even if you say nothing. Every gesture, every pause, every small action adds to this magnetic field, even when it seems like nothing is happening. The more effortless and natural your presence, the stronger the pull becomes. Understanding this principle changes the way attraction works. It is no longer about chasing, convincing, or performing. Attraction becomes a natural response to who you are and how you carry yourself. Your energy, your confidence, and your subtle presence create a pull that cannot be ignored. Women feel drawn to you without reason, without words, and without explanation. It happens in the mind first, and the senses follow. When you master the invisible attraction, you become unforgettable. Women remember your presence long after an interaction ends. They are drawn not just to what you say or how you look, but to the quiet energy you radiate and the psychological signals you project. This is the ultimate form of attraction, calm, powerful, and almost untouchable. It is quiet influence, working in the mind long before it reaches awareness. In conclusion, the invisible attraction ensures that desire no longer needs to be chased. It comes naturally. It is subtle, strategic, and unstoppable. Women feel it in their minds first. Curiosity grows into fascination. Fascination grows into an irresistible draw. Master this, and influence, attraction, and desire flow effortlessly, naturally, and powerfully without struggle or effort. This is the hidden art of being magnetic, the kind of presence that draws attention, sparks fascination, and makes attraction inevitable. If this secret opened your mind, don't just watch, take charge of your influence. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to discover the hidden strategies most men never learn. Comment, "I'm ready" below if you want to master this power and make attraction effortless. Remember, women notice the mind first, and now so will she.